I have a man, Savannah's here from Baltimore County, and he's going to share how he put his first three deals together that actually came from one lead, I think it was, right?
Two leads, but they were literally on the same day from one Bandit sign.
Okay. Wow, for one Bandit sign. Amazing. $13,960 wholesaling houses in Baltimore. How did this student do it? Well, he's going to share with us how he did it. Plus, there's going to be some bonus tips at the end of the video. Stand by. Let's get it.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. And out of Be More, we have another successful story on getting started wholesaling real estate, mainly houses. I have a man, Savannah's here from Baltimore County, and he's going to share how he put his first three deals together that actually came from one lead, I think it was, right?
Two leads, but they were literally on the same day from one Bandit sign.
Okay. Wow, for one Bandit sign. Amazing. So $13,960 with that one Bandit sign. So how's it going, my man?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Oh, I'm super tight, my man. So what I like to do, just to get right into it, is just tell us a little bit about your background and just lead up to how you got involved in wholesaling and so on.
Okay. So my background, I'm in the financial industry. What I mean by that, 401ks, retirement plans, graduated from school back in 2004, studied business administration, economics. So literally right out of college, got into the financial industry. Been doing that. I actually currently still doing that full time. I actually work out of state. I'm in Baltimore, but I work in DC. So, married, got two kids, got a son, 12-year-old son. He's going to be 13 next month. Got a 4-year-old daughter. She'll be 5 in like 3 months. And how I got into real estate, I just was like, look, man, as a man and provider, I wanted to make a better life for, my family. And I figured, I got to figure out a way how to do it. So I came across, it's funny you should say that, actually. We just moved into the house we're currently in about a little over a year ago. And we were selling our other house. That was actually my first house ever purchased. And the realtor I was working with was, let's just say we didn't have a good relationship, or I didn't really like how his methods. And so it was just taking a long time, on the market for a while. And I saw signs on the side of the street talking about we buy houses. And not knowing, fast forward, but not knowing back then that I'll be doing that myself in the industry. But I asked him about, I said, what are these we buy houses? And he kind of downplayed it and pushed it away to the side. And I just never thought nothing of it. Fast forward, I ended up getting another realtor. We got the house sold, and boom, we're in this house right now. So I'm like, okay, so that was always in the back of my mind. Like, okay, this houses thing. So I'm on YouTube, just scrolling through Facebook, and I see one of your videos. And I'm like, okay, well, that guy looks like me. You know what I mean? The goatee and the smooth head up top. So I started watching your videos, and I was like, I just went down the rabbit hole. More videos. And I kind of looked up some other people that were, I guess, in that industry, but only you and this another guy is only two that kind of, I guess, stuck with me. I don't know if you heard of Nick Ruiz.
No, I don't think I've heard of him.
Okay. So yeah, I got like a couple of his books, but I read 2 of his books and watched hundreds of your videos. My wife thought it was crazy. So, so I started watching your videos over and over, taking down notes, just saturating myself. And then I was like, you know what? Action cures fear. So I took what you stated, and I started rolling. I started doing everything you stated, getting my Bandit Signs, start marketing online, and the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's get into you educated yourself. Sounds like it took a minute for you to do that before you were comfortable to make a move. How long do you think you spent educating yourself before you actually spent $1 on trying to generate leads or any effort towards generating leads?
I would say about I'd say about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It took about 2 weeks of just, watching, anytime I had outside of work and my family responsibilities, you can ask my wife. I was watching your videos after everyone would settle down, get the kids to bed. It'd be like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm watching your videos till like 1 a.m.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. Okay.
So I was about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks of watching your videos before I took the next step of actually taking the action.
Okay. I think it took me about 3 weeks of just constantly just pounding myself with the information that I originally got my hands on. And so what was the first thing that you did to start generating leads? What was the first thing you did?
I watched you. So you recommended in one of your videos to go to use what we call Bandit Signs, which ironically was what I saw on the side of the road years ago. So you said go to I think it was dirtcheapsigns.com, and I asked him some questions. I'm sorry. I asked you a question in one of your YouTube videos, I believe, and you responded to it saying the size of the Bandit sign you recommend getting. And I said, okay. So I contacted Dirt Cheap Signs and ordered, I think it was 300 signs. Ordered 300, and they mailed them. I think they were backlogged at the time, but it took about a week and a half, 2 weeks for them to come. And yeah.
All right. So how many signs did you order originally?
Yeah, 300. I ordered 300.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That's what's up. So I'm assuming how did you go about choosing the areas that you wanted to put out, and initially how many did you put out?
So the way I did about it, okay, well, the number I decided let me do half. So I filled my trunk up with 150 signs. And I figured let me start where I lived, and then I just branched out. So I started in, I guess, the suburbs, county area, and then I worked my way into the city.
Okay.
And, yeah.
How many of those did you think were, I guess, remained up over a course of whatever time frame?
Good question. So, okay, actually, let me go back. So what I did was I went and posted up signs through the routes or routes that I take on a regular basis. Like I'm taking my daughter to school, my son to school, where we go to church, where I go to work, I go to the train station. I put it in places where I normally, on a regular basis go. So I noticed though, some places, like in particular near my train station, those signs were gone the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew, okay, I can't put them around this area. And a couple other places they were there for, weeks,
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get into when you started receiving calls and how that translated into these first deals.
Well, that for me was like that was the aha moment, because I was like, it's game time now, because people started calling. And, for me, it was like everything just started rushing in my head from all the videos, everything you said. I'm like, all right, I got to do something. And I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. I stuttered. I didn't really know what to say or do, but other than, what's your address? How many bedrooms and baths? The technical stuff was coming out, but I was fumbling and nervous. But to be honest with you, once that first couple minutes and building a rapport with the seller, it went smooth. So, the first one, the woman called me. She stated that she had an estate, or she was the head of the estate. She had 2 brothers, and her father passed away. She had 2 properties, and she wanted to unload them or get rid of them, because she didn't want to continue paying a mortgage on her current house and then trying to do the upkeep of these other two houses because her brothers weren't doing anything. So I said, okay. Well, so I got to her need, her why or her want. So we said it. I asked her some questions over the phone, and then I said, hey, can I see or meet you in person and see the property in person. So we made an appointment, went to the house, had my phone, started taking pictures, asking some more questions, how long was the roof replaced, foundational issues, any other tax issues or whatever the case may be. And I told her I would get back to her and make her an offer. So fast forward, I think it was about 2 days later, because she had some things going on personally that we couldn't really, get on the phone again. I met up with her. I made an offer on one house. She liked that offer and actually told me, let's go meet at the second house, made an offer on that one. So now, boom, I got them both under contract. Use your one-page contract.
Okay. So these, these houses were in the county area, or were they in more Baltimore City or what?
Yeah. So it's funny. She saw my Bandit sign, which was out in the county.
Okay.
She was coming home from work, and she said that she saw the Bandit sign, and then took the number down, and that's when she gave me a call. She actually called me later on. Well, I'll put the Bandit sign out late. That's another thing too. I went out late that night. The one that she talked about that she saw, I remember that one. That was the one where I was tired, and I was like, you know what? Ty said, how bad you want it.
Yeah.
I got back up like 3 a.m. and put these like an extra batch of signs up. And when I asked her, where did you see that sign at? That was the one that I put out at 3 a.m. I was contemplating not to get up and go out and did it. And that's the one that she called.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the houses were in the city?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. One was like right near Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
And then the other one was in West Baltimore.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what prices did you settle on, and how did you determine if these were great deals or not?
So, yeah, that's a good question. So the first house that was in the Johns Hopkins area, that was actually a nice development area because Johns Hopkins is buying up a whole bunch of property like crazy. So that one, she had just got a deck put on the back of it. The inside needed updates. It was just out of date. Kitchen, bathroom, that kind of stuff. Still had wallpaper up in the bedrooms upstairs. It was a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So I had made an offer for $90K.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Initial offer was a $90K. She didn't want that. So I said, okay, let's go with $100K.
Okay.
After going back and forth, we went to $100K because I was like, I know the ARVs on this in these properties, they're up in the like probably 200K, area or range. Yeah.
They needed, so I'm assuming they needed quite a bit of repairs.
Yeah. So I estimated repairs at like 40.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Something around that.
All right. So she accepted 100 for each, or for
no. Yeah. So 100K was for the one in Hopkins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the other property was not a bad. You could say it was vacant. It needed a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It had fire damage on the second floor, from some squatters. And so that one I initially made an offer of I think 1,000, and she said, "How about 1,500?" So I said, "Okay."
Oh wow, okay. All right. Okay.
So she accepted 1,500. I mean, she said 1,500. I said, "Okay,
All right, boom.
Let's go."
All right. So what was the ARV on that one?
That one was tough because it wasn't really hardly any comps because it was an old colonial kind of style house, and there was a lot of different abandoned boarded up houses around that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and it needed like a full makeover.
Okay.
So I could probably say between, let's say 60,000-70,000.
Okay.
All
right. Okay. So all right. So now you went out and take a look at the property. You all agreed on a price. So we get to the contract part of it. So how did you all handle that part of it? And did you use the contract that I give away, or what?
Yep.
What did you do?
Yep. So I used your one-page contract. We signed both of them, and I don't know, but it seemed like she may have dealt with wholesalers or real estate investors in the past, because she was adamant about getting an EMD. So I tried doing I tried doing $10 on both of the properties. Yeah, but she wasn't having that. So the second property that I said that was in West Baltimore that had a lot of work to be done, she accepted $10 EMD with that one. The one near Hopkins, I guess because that was in better condition, she wanted $250.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, that's not bad. So I just put the $250 down. She held on to them, cashier's check. She held on to them until closing.
All right. So you actually put them in there. So now, did you email those contracts over to her, or you put them in her hand to sign, or how did you handle that part of it? She wasn't necessarily tech savvy. So what we did was we would meet at a McDonald's that was halfway between where we lived. I got you.
Yep. So every time we met at McDonald's, sat down, went over the contract with her, signed it, and then she would have her lawyer, send a copy to her and send a copy to her, lawyer of the estate.
I got you. Okay. So now you have both contracts on the from this one owner. The next thing is the buyer. So you see, man, wow, this is moving fast.
Right.
Now what? So what do you do about a buyer?
Right. So again, rubber meeting the roads. I'm like, all right, it's game time, man. I got 30 days, on this contract. So yeah, what I did was I tried a couple different routes. So I would post it on Craigslist. I posted on Facebook Marketplace, and I tried posted in some of the Facebook groups. The different properties. And that's what, so one property I end up JVing on. So the one that was near Hopkins, I ended up finding another wholesaler, real estate investor here in Baltimore. And she had a massive cash buyer list. We end up partnering on that deal. So that way, I'm glad it kind of happened early on because I got experience now with JVing. I didn't know what JVing was. She had reached out to me. So I learned that process, and I did a JV deal because she brought in a cash buyer.
What were the numbers on that one? You had it in the contract for 100. What did the buyer end up paying on that one?
So the contract was the house was on the contract for 100,000. We got the buyer at 103.
Okay.
But then I talked with the title company, and the way we, I guess, did the settlement sheet is he was also going to reimburse me back my earnest money deposit.
Correct.
Right. And we end up doing a kind of like a 60-40 split.
Oh, okay. So who got the 60?
Me. Okay. I did all the work, most of the work.
I got it. Okay. So my math is correct. You made, what is that? 1,800?
No, it was 1,750.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
they gave you 250 back. So was it 1,750 or 2,000? Did they manage to, or your 250 was a part of that 1,750?
Yeah, it was a part of it.
Okay, all right, okay,
right,
cool.
Right.
All right, so now you well, that's the way it was supposed to work out anyway. Okay, so now you have that deal done. So on the fire damage property, you had it in the contract for 1,500. Did she find a buyer for that one also, or
no? Yeah, so because I had success with her on that one, I told her about this other property, and she put it out there to her buyers and really wasn't getting anything, or she was getting stuff that was way lower, than people were saying 500 or 750, blah blah blah.
Yeah, correct.
So I said, okay, well, let me try marketing this one on my own. So again, Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, and again, this was before I decided to take the investment with Deal You Later. Now that helped me out on my second deal I'm gonna talk, the third deal I'm gonna talk about. But at this time, I was still green, you know what I mean, on the process. So I end up finding a cash buyer replied to one of my Craigslist ads. And we met at the property. We went through it. He ended up, he was a person, he lived or was from Oklahoma, Midwest, and he moved to Baltimore just to kind of restart his own life again and all that. And he was investing back in the Midwest, but decided he wanted to start up again here on the East Coast. So he lives in Rockville, Maryland, and decided he wanted to take some properties in the city here in Baltimore. So I said, okay, make me an offer. And, he made me an offer. I ended up, it was a little over, I guess I walked away with 2210 as profit.
Okay.
Deal.
All right. All right. That's what's up. All right. So you got those two. So now the third deal, how did that one come about? The third.
So that one, the daughter of the seller gave me a call. She saw the same bandit sign that this lady had called me about. So I'm like, okay, all right, we rolling now. So she said, yeah, my mom got a property that, her brother had passed away and gave to us, and she's looking to sell it. So I said, okay, no problem. I remember your videos. You always say, talk to the person that's, that owns the property, try to find the person that owns the property. So I said, okay, give my number to your mother or give me her number and I'll give her a call. So a couple of days went by and I didn't hear anything. So I'm like, okay, all right, let me follow back up. I've kept following up. So like 4 days later, I ended up finally reaching the actual seller or her mother. I explained to her, the whole spiel. I'm a real estate investor, Your daughter called me looking for property. What's the address, And I went and met her at the property. The property here, I don't know if you're familiar with Maryland, but it's a popular area called Arundel Mills or Hanover, Maryland property. It's right near like a big, huge mall and a casino. So it's a lot of land and high ARVs out there.
Okay.
So this property was vacant. I mean, it was vacant. Needed basically a tear down or full rehab.
Okay.
But the land, it was a lot of land, like an acre of land. So
okay.
Yep.
All right. So what were the numbers? So let me ask you this: how far apart was that particular deal versus the first deal with the two houses with the first owner? What was the time frame in between those two?
Like a couple of days.
Okay. All right.
It was like back to back. Yeah. Boom, boom.
All right. Okay. So what price did you all settle on, and what ARV did you come up with? So this one was tough. I mean, I had marketed this one for a while, a long time. And I think this happened for a reason, because I learned so much with this property. I mean, negatives, there's a lot of negatives and there's a lot of positives with it that came. I don't want to go into detail about it. Yeah.
So the way I had to come about this, I was actually going to purchase the property myself because I saw the value and knew the value in the area. But things didn't go through. So what I did was I actually paid and had the property, had it appraised.
Okay.
I came out of pocket. I think I came out of pocket. I paid like $500. I mean, I took a leap of faith. I paid $500, got it appraised. It came back at 165 as is price. So I ended up I went on Dealulator. Okay. I typed in the zip code of the property and looked up and did that new filter that they added in, cash buyers.
Yeah.
That you have talked about in your videos, and it brought up a list of cash buyers, and I used a skip trace service in Dealulator.
Okay.
Actually found phone numbers and emails, and I literally went one by one, started calling down the list because it does it alphabetically for you. Okay. I got down to the 10th person, called him, he answered the phone, and he said, "Yeah, I'm familiar with that property. I'm actually 10 minutes down the street from it. Can I meet you tomorrow at the property?" And I met him at the property. We small talk. We walked up through the property. He asked me a couple questions, and I told him, "Hey, I'll send you. If you're interested, let me know." He said, "Okay, I'll let you know the next day." Next day, he said, "I'm interested. how much do you want earnest money deposit? I told them $2K. I sent them the contract. I used DocuSign.
Well, okay. What did you have it in the contract for?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. So I put on the contract. Okay. So initially I wanted 90. Okay. We were going back and forth. We got down to 85. And then he said, you know what? I said, you're able to cover closing costs. He said, look.
No. I'm saying, what did you have in the contract with the seller?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had under contract with the seller for 75.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
I got it down to that. It was initially that. We had a lot of work going back and forth.
Okay. All right. So you got it down to 75. I mean, you had to go on the contract with the seller for 75, and then the buyer and you, I guess, agreed on 85.
No. So
okay.
As I said, this property put me through it, but I'm glad because it happened early on. So now nobody can fool me no more.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a previous buyer. Okay. A previous buyer that I had listed this property, my normal way is Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I had a buyer, so-called buyer, I got the property under contract with her for a higher amount. She put down a $5K earnest money deposit. We had
That's right.
Yeah. She put $5K wire. She wired it to my title company, and we had I believe it was a 14-day closing period.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't close, so they lost that $5K. Title company wired it to me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was in the contract, so. I got that $5K. So then, of course, my timer is ticking, so with my contract with the seller. So then I put it back out there and I told the whole story about the deal you later and
Yeah.
So I found this buyer. So again, I have it under contract for 75 with the seller, still the same.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he said he was going to, I said, if you cover, closing costs, transfer, recordation fees, all that, he said, I can do 80. If you want me to cover all that, I can do 80.
Okay.
So I said, hey, okay. And he said, I can close, whenever, the next day if you want. I said, okay. I said, all right. So I called my title company and said, look, how quickly can you do title work? Blah, 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 blah. He submitted the EMD, 2K EMD. The following day, they told me they can close in about 3 or 4 days. And so that was on a Monday. So then that Friday, we closed.
So boom, there it is. So $5K just fell out the sky through the earnest money deposit. Did another $5K on the actual deal that closed.
Yes.
So that's 10,000. So that equals the 13,960 with all three deals. So boom. So but that took a couple of months though, didn't it? From the time frame you closed those first 2 deals to that time. How long did it take? Yeah.
So I guess to put a time frame on it, I started studying you April of 2019. Okay. I got calls from those 3 deals in May 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I closed on the 2 Baltimore ones. I got them on the contract in May, and I closed in August.
Okay,
it would be like the first week in August.
Okay,
because there was a couple of issues going on as far as with the buyers and moving out and all that kind of stuff with the property, which we worked out. But this third one that was in Hanover, Maryland, that one I got on the contract in May, and I kept at it, and we just closed last week.
Yeah. Okay. Boom.
Yep.
Boy, that follow up is key and staying with it. That's why I tell people, man, it takes patience in this business. It takes a great deal of patience, and that starts even with the education. You have to be willing to be patient as far as educating yourself also. So boom, so you got those 3 knocked out, man. As far as total deals, what's next for you? You got a little war chest from the business or whatever. So what's next for you?
Next is I'll spoil the family a little bit, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep. But next is I invested some money into some more marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I hired a VA, a virtual assistant, to help me with. I got a bunch of different lead lists that I'm attacking. And next for me, which I'm going to step out, is virtual wholesale. I'm going to try to wholesale out of state.
I got you.
Yep.
All right. Well, just as which you already know this, you're in the DMV area. So that's a vast market, with DC, Maryland, Virginia, Baltimore, DC, Alexandria, whatever. So just that entire area there, man, unlimited amount of deals there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, man, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. And hey, you stuck with it. That's one of the reasons why I like to put different individuals on here, because no one's story is the same.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple. Their video is probably going to be released before yours, where they had a lot of issues with a property that they picked up. They're in the Delaware area, but they closed it in 10 days. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was like a lot of issues that occurred in between that time frame of them actually getting it under contract and closing it in 10 days or whatever. Normally what they were going through takes months, definitely weeks or whatever, but they still got it closed in 10 days. So all of these deals are different, but the great thing about it is just all worth it. The main thing is when I first closed my first deal, is just which y'all dwarf what I do. What I did, I only did 2,500, but it proved to me that it's real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the main thing. So again, man, I really appreciate you sharing your time. With anything else you want to add before we go?
I want to say thank you, Ty. I appreciate, because you opened this door. I mean, it's limitless now. What's the saying? You give a man a fish, eat for a day. You teach a man how to fish, eats for a lifetime. You taught me how to. It's a lifetime. It's something I can pass on to my kids. I appreciate you, really, from the heart.
All right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So as I always like to say, guys, again, thanks to Surveillance, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. How do you go from zero to over $10,000 per month wholesaling houses and real estate, and your cash or credit situation won't matter? In this video, I'm going to show you how, but as a bonus, I'm going to also show you how I build my list for cold calling and postcards. So stand by. Let's get it.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. How can you go from zero to $10,000 per month wholesaling houses, and your cash or credit won't matter? Now, there's no secret or magic wand that I wave to make this happen over and over again. If you watched enough of my free videos, you know I say it a lot. It all starts with generating daily leads. In reality, instead of being a wholesaler/investor, you're really a marketing agency, because your primary goal is to generate daily leads, and you will stumble into 4 and 5 figure paydays in most markets. Now, I want you to make sure you understand that this is a very simple process, but by no means is easy. If you're consistent and have the patience, you can change your financial situation forever. Now, I want to just put this into simple numbers so you can see how important it is that you can go from zero to over $10,000 per month wholesaling houses. And again, your cash or credit won't matter. Remember the number 30. The number 30 basically represents the number of people that you normally have to talk to that want to actually sell a piece of real estate, sell a house, to get one deal. Now, some people can get away with that on average around 20, maybe even 15. But I want to be very conservative and realistic on what it takes. So how do you get to that number 30? Now, the more ways that you have to generate leads, the quicker you get to that number 30 and the quicker you get to a deal. Now you can be like I was, and this is not going to be everyone's situation. That was only 2. Now I may be a bad example, but when I started, my very first 2 calls were actual deals. The first one blew up in my face. I got a $5,000 down payment on a lease option opportunity, but I had to end up giving it back to the lady. The second call that I received was an actual deal, and I made my first $2,500. But again, I want to be in reality here and get you to understand that that's not the norm. But you may be as fortunate as I was, but that's not the norm. So how do we get to that number 30? All right, we go back to generating leads. Now I'm going to start with free ways because the title is this video is 0. That means you're starting with nothing but actual knowledge that you can gain right here on my YouTube channel with the over 350 plus videos that I have at the date of this video. So a lot of people will start by simply just driving for dollars. Now, if you don't know what that means, it just simply means you're getting in the car, someone driving you around, and you're just looking for properties that appear to be vacant. All right, those are the obvious properties that you'll target, and then you'll research and try to reach out to the owner by mail and or phone to see if they're interested in selling. And if they are, obviously the numbers have to be in your favor to make it a great deal. They have to be motivated to sell cheap. Now, while you're out driving for dollars, a couple other things that you can look for is obviously for sale by owner. That's someone that has an actual sign in the yard or on the property itself saying for sale by owner and a phone number. All right, those are simple to contact and just see what they're trying to sell the property for, and maybe you can negotiate it into a great deal. The other way would be also targeting properties that are for rent. You say, well, why would you do that? The largest number of individuals that'll sell properties, from my experience and others that I've dealt with around the country, those are going to be tired landlords. So you can be proactive and reach out to individuals that actually are trying to rent properties that appear to be vacant. All right, so how do you go about that? You simply give them a call and ask them about, is this property still available? Whether they say yes or no, your follow-up statement will be, well, I'm not calling about renting the property. Would you be interested in selling the property? If they say yes, you collect the necessary information to evaluate the property. If they say no, you ask them, do they have any other properties that they may be interested in selling? If they say yes, collect the information to evaluate the property. If they say no, thank them for their time and let them know if anything changes to give you a call back. Another free way of generating leads is through other wholesalers. Now, other wholesalers, in a lot of cases, they're going to advertise their properties on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and so on. Now, you'll say, well, how will I know that they're wholesalers? When you call them, you simply ask them, do you own the property or are you wholesaling it? And after doing this for a while, you'll just be able to recognize a wholesaler's ad. They seem to have a common theme on the way they describe the properties. Now, co-wholesaling is basically where you're becoming a joint venture partner, as some people call JV. And that's where you find a buyer for a property that they have under contract. Now, a couple of ways to go about that as far as the contract part of it. Whenever you want to go into a deal with an individual or another wholesaler, is some people will do what they call a JV agreement. I personally only like to do purchase and sales agreements. Now, you and the wholesaler can agree on a price, and whatever you make above that you keep, or you all can agree to split whatever is made on the deal, which simply means whatever he has it under contract for, and you bring a buyer to the table, you split the difference between contract A, which is what he has with the seller, and contract B, what you'll have with your buyer. So you all would just split. So just one or two ways to go about it. So that's co-wholesaling or JVing, which is another free method of generating leads. Now, similar to driving for dollars, a lot of wholesalers will only target properties that are already being advertised online for sale, either for sale by owner or listed with a real estate agent. Now, it takes a very special individual to be able to deal with these type of properties that are already being advertised, because in most cases, you're not finding a secret or anything that's special. You make it negotiate it into a great deal, and then you're going to have the right type of buyer. And what I mean by that is the first thing that most buyers are going to do is they're going to Google the address. And if that property, even if you have it under contract and you've negotiated a lower price than what's being advertised online, a lot of times that ad is still there, and that person's contact information there, whether it's the actual owner or a real estate agent, and which that gives potential cash buyers an opportunity to call them. Not that they steal your deal, but they can make your deal more complicated. So you have to have the right type of buyer, and a lot of that is just dealing with timing, trust in buyers, because you have some buyers, they don't care, and they just want you to feed them deals, even if it's already being advertised. But a lot of buyers don't like those type of deals because they don't see a value in you. So again, you just have to have the right type of buyer for those type of opportunities. But again, it's another free method of generating leads. Now, dealing with real estate agents, you do have to understand that they're going to want earnest money, and they're going to want proof of funds. Now, there are ways to get around that, but that's the side of it that I don't recommend newbies to target properties that are already listed unless you know what you're doing when dealing with real estate agents. That's a video in itself, which I do have a couple of those on my YouTube channel. Just do Realtors and Flip Man. Those videos should come up. So those are some of the free ways. Now, if you want to fast forward things, then you can spend a few $100s, and what I mean from $300 to maybe $500, either using Bandit Signs and or a cold calling list. Now, Bandit Signs are the signs that you see on the street that say we buy houses, not banner signs, but Bandit Signs, Bandit. Those are the signs that you see on the street, and you've probably seen them that say we buy houses. You can get about 200 signs, depending on the size and the color, for less than $300. Now, if you use multiple colors, then it'll cost more in most cases, and depending on the size also. But they work if done correctly. It's going to be one of the most effective ways for the small amount of money that you spend than anything to generate leads if done correctly. But you'll always be using them because they will come down. But if you're doing them the right way, you get 2, 3, 4 weeks out of a good number of your batch. They normally translate into several deals, and you just keep compounding and putting more signs out. Now, cold calling is basically purchasing a list, which you can do in a lot of different ways, which I get all of my lists from Deal You Later, aka PropStream. And from there, you can skip trace the list for phone numbers. Now, who you target as far as a list, I'll give you an idea what I use. Now, okay, so at the beginning of this video, I told you I would show you how I'll build my list for cold calling and direct mail, whether it's postcards and or yellow letters. So I'm in Deal You Later, aka PropStream. What you want to do, you can target by city name, zip code, or county. All right, so I'm just going to use Orange County, California. All right, and you have to put it in the name of the county, the word county, comma, and then the state. All right, so it takes a while to filter out a county of that size population. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go owner occupied and say no. I don't want them living there. I like to target free and clear. Now, as you can see, you can do vacant, liens, pre-foreclosure, auctions, bank-owned, which are foreclosures, cash buyers list if you want high equity, bankruptcy, divorce, tax delinquents, flippers, failed listings. All right, so I want to do free and clear because at the end of the day, it's all about, do they have the equity there to even make it a deal anyway, and how much of it are they willing to give up? So I like to target free and clear. High equity will probably accomplish this also, but free and clear means they technically don't owe anything on it. All right. Now you can do tax liens, all this other stuff, but I don't get into. I'm just telling you the list that I like to build most often. All right. So free and clear. I don't care if it's vacant or not. I've done plenty of deals where someone lives there, whether it's the owner, a renter, a family member, whatever. So I don't care if it's vacant or not. If they're motivated, they're motivated. Now, of course, when a house is vacant, they may be more likely to be motivated, but I don't care what their level of motivation, whether it's vacant or not. All right, so I'm going to leave that alone. So property characteristics, I want to do residential, which they've made a lot of changes here recently that are really more detailed. And I'm going to do single family. Now, you can do multifamily. You can just go on and on here, but we're talking about houses here. All right, so closed property characteristics, MLS. I'm going to say no. I don't want it listed on MLS. I want it off market. Then I go to ownership information. I want to do individual. All right. That means just a regular John Blow owns the property. John Doe owns it. And I want to have owned at least 1 year or more. Now, this is a very highly populated county. So in this county, I would probably do 10 years or more. Normally, I'll do one in my county because we don't have the population that they do in a lot of the counties I target. But I think if I did 10 years, it's down to about 3,500. See, that's a manageable list. Now, if I go back in here in the filter and did, we'll say 5 years, now it changes to 6179. So you may want to send a mailing list that large, or you may want to call list that large. So once you have the number that you do want, then what you do is, and depending on how new your account is with DLA to AKA prop stream, so you'll probably have to start with 1,000. So what you have to do is select all and then put the number 1,000 here. And then you'll want to add to list. All right, so it's a new list unless it's an existing list that you already have. So just for the sake of this video, I would do 12. We'll just say 2019. I'm going to put an asterisk in front of it so I can find it really quick. And then I would save the actual list. All right, once I save the list, then I would go over here back to properties, and I would go into the marketing list, and there it is. Where is it? Right here. So that's 1,000. So it loaded quickly. All right, then I'll select all, and then you just export. Now from there, it gets into understanding how to do an Excel spreadsheet, but that's just a YouTube search away. Even if you've never done it before, you download it, find it, and then depending on what service you use to skip trace, which you can actually skip trace right here. And the only thing you would do there is just select the name of the list once you go through the prompts here. And if you need assistance with that, support will be happy to assist you. So I wanted to add this as an additional bonus to this particular video. But guys, remember, just if you don't get anything out of anything I teach you, if you're not willing to educate yourself on the process of doing this stuff, and I give it away all free, obviously I offer coaching and all that stuff, but if you can't afford that, I give it away all free here on my YouTube channel. So at the end of the day, if you don't have the patience, it may take you 3 months to go through it all. If you don't have the patience to do that, you're probably not going to succeed at this anyway, because real estate is a business that takes consistency, work at it, I mean hard work, and but more importantly, patience. So you got to have the patience to educate yourself, to give yourself the best chance to succeed. That is just that simple. Knowing what you are doing increases your chances of succeeding. I don't care what it is. If you know what you're doing, not trying to half ass it. I'll just go on and say it. You're going to say, oh, it doesn't work. No, it works. You just didn't educate yourself to make it work. So again, I hope this entire video helped. Again, this is Dare You Later, aka PropStream. There's a 5-day free trial. Make sure you watch all the videos associated with it. I'm going to do a more recent updated video because some things because some things have changed here recently. But it's an unbelievable tool. Outside of my transportation and my actual smartphones, this is the most important tool to me. Deal you later, aka PropStream. Thanks. With all of that being said, we went from free methods to a couple of paid methods. The way you can get to that number 30 to produce one deal is to have multiple methods of generating leads. If you had all 5 of these working at once, driving for dollars, co-wholesaling, targeting properties online for sale by owners and or listed properties with realtors, Bandit Signs, and cold calling, each one of those methods could produce 30 leads each per month. Now you're doing anywhere from 5 to maybe 7 deals per month. So there's no magic wand. It all boils down to generating leads and marketing your butt off. So I hope this video helps. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications so you are alerted whenever I go live on YouTube and when I upload new videos just like this one. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok now at Ask Flipman. Thanks, and I will see you on the flip side.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.